December 2018, I was fed up and I knew that a change had to happen. Up until that point, I was a very indisciplined person. Although I was good at the things that I did, I was very inconsistent at them, and my results were obviously quite terrible. Both my results and the kind of results that my businesses were generating. I was tired and I needed to make a change. So in December, I took action and I found morning routines. January 2019, I started doing morning routines. April 2020, I got listed on Forbes Africa. In this video, I'm going to share with you my morning routine that I've been doing since January 2019 that has transformed my life. And warning, it's not for everybody. Some people might find this outrageous, but it's my routine. I'm teaching it. If you'd like to take a cue from it, let's get into the video. Hi, and thank you for stopping by to watch this video. If you're one of my subscribers, thanks for always supporting this channel. But if you're new here and this is your first time watching any of my videos, hi, my name is Davis. I make content for entrepreneurs and I am so glad that you're here today. Thank you for stopping by. Please consider subscribing because I make good content for entrepreneurs. No, scratch that. I make great content for entrepreneurs, as you're just about to find out, because today I'm going to be teaching you about my morning routine. And I'm sure you must have heard about morning routines before, but if you haven't heard morning routines, it's just a sequence of activities that you engage in as you begin your day. And it works because I was at that place where I was very indisciplined. I was achieving terrible results in my life. My businesses weren't doing well. And this was in 2018 after I had won the Next Titan, Nigeria's version of The Apprentice. You know, the Next Titan gave me some resources. I was doing a bit of things here and there, but I wasn't fulfilling my potential. And then in December 2018, I took action, and those actions, which essentially was instituting a morning routine into my life, and I started that routine in January 2019, it completely transformed my life. Ever since then, my businesses are doing better. I have advanced in my career. You know, I even got listed on Forbes Africa 30 under 30 list in the year 2020 in the midst of the pandemic, and great things have happened ever since. So in today's video, I am going to share with you the 10 steps that make up my morning routine that has completely transformed my life, and I'm convinced that it's going to transform yours too. But let me give you a warning before we get started. You're not likely going to like my morning routine because it starts very, very early. So I'm just going to put that warning out there right now. You may not be able to, copy it as it is because, the time that works for me differs from the time that works for you. But what is most important is that you take the core lessons and the core steps that are included and implement it to whatever timing works for you. It's not about the time. It's about what works for you as a person. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Before we get into the 10 components that make up my morning routine, the first thing I need to tell you is that I have designed my routine to take care of the 7 core dimensions of my life. And you and I, every single one of us, we have 7 core dimensions to our lives. If you don't know what those are, I'm going to tell you. So the 7 core dimensions are spiritual, social, mental, intellectual, physical, professional, and financial. So you've got the spiritual dimension, the social dimension, the mental dimension, you've got the intellectual dimension, you've got the physical dimension, you've got the professional dimension, and the financial dimension. So what I have done is to take the concept of morning routines and apply it to these 7 dimensions of my life to ensure that I am growing at an even pace. So not only does the morning routine help me to be disciplined and consistent, it also helps me to grow at an even pace. So it's not a situation where, I'm growing professionally and then my social life is suffering. No, I'm able to balance it out effectively, and that is what my morning routine covers. So guys, let's get into it. Now, what's the first step in my morning routine is to set what I call a reverse alarm. Let me explain what I mean. So my morning routine actually starts the night before. It doesn't start in the morning. It starts the night before. And the reason for this is very simple. Context matters in everything. The environment that you set around a particular thing is very important. See, just in the same way it is difficult to learn in a noisy environment, the same way it is difficult to cook in a very messed up kitchen, it's the same way it becomes difficult for you to start a morning routine if you have a messed up night. So if you don't sleep well, your morning routine is not going to go well. So what then do you do to ensure that you sleep well? Is to set what we call a reverse alarm. You see, people set alarm to wake up, but not a lot of people set alarm to sleep. In today's day and age, our lives are very busy from dusk to dawn. We're all around the clock. We're either working or toying with our phones or sitting at our computers. This is what the typical day looks like for the most of us. But you must know when to shut off. Okay, this is the point where I tell you. My morning routine starts by 1 a.m. Yes, I told you were going to scream. You weren't going to like it. My morning routine starts by 1 a.m. And I'll tell you how I'm able to make that possible. My day starts by 1 a.m. I'm going to tell you about what I do in the first few hours, but whatever it is that I plan to do in the course of the day, and what I mean by course of the day is, when regular human beings wake up, anytime from 7 a.m. or till like 4 p.m. Whatever it is that I do, that depends on whatever work plans that I have or school plans that I have or whatever it is I'm doing. But by 4 p.m., my day begins to wind down gradually. So 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., if I'm working, it will most likely be meetings, right? But by 7 p.m., I need to set aside all work. And then between 7 p.m. and 7:30 is when I go on social media to just catch up on whatever it is that I missed during the day. Because for the most part, I try to stay away from social media during the day. So 7 p.m. to 7:30, I'm catching up with YouTube. I'm going on LinkedIn. I'm going on Instagram, and then by 7:30, I know that I have to drop my phone and then try to sleep. So by 7:30, I drop my phone, I lay in my bed, I turn off the light, and then most times anywhere between 7:30 and 8:30 is when I fall asleep. So I sleep around 7:30, 8:30, and I wake up by 1 a.m., which gives me a decent 5 hours sleep, which is what I get on the average on a daily basis. But in order for me to start 1 a.m., I had to explain this so that you see the pattern. In order for me to start by 1 a.m., I needed to sleep early so that I could get decent amount of sleep and my body can wake up at the right time. Now, quick question. Why do I start my day at 1 a.m.? Because that's what works for me. I am most productive in the middle of the night. I call it my condor mode. That is the mode where I am at my most powerful, where the genius that I've got really comes shining through, and then I put in all of my creative work. If I need to develop something, if I need to think about something or write something or design something, that is when that work happens, right? So I figured out that middle of the night works best for me, and it's also gratifying. Many times, I start my day by 1. And then by the time it's 7 a.m., 8 a.m., I've already gone through half of the day. I've accomplished a lot already. But then that's when a lot of people are just getting started. So it makes me feel like I'm ahead of people, just a personal feeling. But essentially, that is why I chose 1 a.m. Now, I need to talk about this right here and now. You don't have to do 1 a.m. if it doesn't work for you. Remember, the only reason why I do 1 a.m. is because I am most active at night, right? I am most creative. I am most powerful. I am at the peak of my powers at night. So I start by 1 and then I go ahead with my routine and then I go into the work of the day. That's how I work. If for you 4 a.m. is what works, stick to it. If for you 6 a.m. is what works, stick to it. But just follow the sequence. For example, if you want to wake up by 4 a.m., then I would advise that by 10 p.m. you are asleep. You need to start the day before. You need to set an alarm. So initially I had to set an alarm to always remember, but now I don't have an alarm any longer. Just once it's 6 p.m., my day is winding down. 7 p.m., I pick my phone, I'm pressing social media. And thereafter, I set my phone down and I try to sleep. I know it now by default. I don't have to set an alarm. But if you want to wake up by 6 a.m., it pays for you to be asleep by 12 midnight at the very latest. Don't watch Netflix into 2 a.m. and expect that you want to do a morning routine that will start by 5 a.m. It ain't gonna work. All right, so the first thing is to set a reverse alarm. The second thing that happens in my morning routine, once that reverse alarm rings, the second thing needs to follow. And what is the second thing? I need to think about the things I want to accomplish the next day. And then as I think about them, I make a note of them. So essentially, I'm planning my activities for the next day, because let me tell you one of the biggest things that can make your morning routines fail. One of the biggest things that can make your morning routines fail as you start is when you wake up very early or whatever time it is that you've set for yourself, and your brain is now beginning to search for what do we have to do today. That in that process of searching, you might even go back to sleep. So it always is a good idea for you to plan the night before and have a very good idea of what you want to accomplish the next day. I think I even once came across a research paper that says that, if you think about what you want to do for the next day as you go to sleep, when you sleep, your brain goes to work, sort of like sorting out the files and organizing the ideas, something of that nature. I can't remember, but I think I remember seeing a research to that effect. But either way, plan for the day ahead, that is the next day. Identify the things you want to do and write them down in a list. That is the second step of my morning routine. Remember, this is just the second step in the morning routine, but it's still happening at night. The third thing is a very simple one. It's sleep. You see, you have to commit to the things that you've decided to do. Once that alarm rings, right? Set your phone aside, turn your notifications off, plan for the next day, and then create the conditions for you to fall asleep. And one of the things that you could do that would really help you is to put your phones, turn off your notifications so that you don't get distractions and you're trying to sleep and somebody wakes you up. Let me tell you something that happens with me. It still happens with me today. If I'm trying to sleep, right, and I'm beginning to doze off, and I'm just maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes into that, and I get waking up from that either by a notification or a call, I am not going to be able to sleep for the next hour or 30 minutes. So that becomes a challenge. And when I understood that, I always turn my notification off. I put my phone away from a place where my hands can touch it. This also has another added benefit, which I'm going to tell you in a bit. But turn off your notifications, put it away. If you fall asleep faster when your lights go off, turn off your light, quieten everything and just try to go to bed. This is not a case where you say to yourself, I can't sleep, then let me go back to my phone. No, don't fall to that temptation. Number 4 step in the morning routine is to wake up. Just like number 3 is to sleep. Now, why am I putting these natural things in the steps? It's because you need to take deliberate action to make these things happen. So I wake up to an alarm that is permanent at 1 a.m., right? It's actually not 1 a.m., it's 12:57, right? So wake up at the time that you've decided to wake up. And there's something you need to do in order to ensure that this happens. You see, for a lot of us, when our alarm rings, we are very quick to take our hands, go to the phone, put it on snooze, and continue sleeping. This is the reason why, like I told you earlier, you need to put your phone far away from where your hands can reach. Guys, you have to ensure that in order for you to snooze your alarm, you have to literally stand up from your bed and walk to where the phone is. Why is this important? Because in the process of sitting up and standing up and walking to where the phone is, your body begins to wake up and you begin to think more. Step 5 to 10 of the morning routine are specifically built to cater to the 7 core dimensions of your life. Remember, I told you that the goal here is that you grow at an even pace, taking care of all the dimensions of your life with your morning routine. This is what I did with my morning routine, and it has worked magic. But before I delve into talking about all of that, if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, please ensure that you hit the subscribe button and click on the notification bell as well so that you can get notified every time I post a new video. Please ensure that you do that because I'm sure by now you know that you're receiving great value, all right? And you're always going to keep getting great value from this channel. Breathe, Davis. Now let's go to number 5. What is number 5 on my routine? Remember, number 4 is actually to wake up. Number 5 then is I start my day with prayer. Now, I'm a Christian. I'm a huge lover of Jesus Christ. I believe that God has sent Jesus to the world to die for our sins, to, ensure that he redeems us back unto God and so that we live a holy life that is acceptable unto God. Strongly believe that. I am very proud of my faith. So as part of my journey with God, I need to communicate with God. I need to be in tune with my spirit man. I need to connect with God. I need to speak to God. I need God to speak to me. And all of that happens in my 1 hour, time that I devote to praying and, studying God's word and things of that nature. And that is the first step, in the ones that are catered towards the 7 core dimensions of my life. That takes care of my spiritual life. So because that component is built into my morning routine, and by the way, guys, I don't think I mentioned this at any point all along. So very early on, like when I started in 2019, for the most part of 2019, my morning routine was steady every single day. But as time wore on, and I got more comfortable, and I developed consistency, I developed discipline, I was getting better results. My morning routine was still important, but I just want to say this. I chose not to become a slave to it, because there are times when I wake up and my body's telling me, guy, you have been working for so long, you need to rest. So now, in order to give my body more than enough rest so that it keeps functioning at peak performance, occasionally now I don't do the routine. So I do my morning routines now on the average 4 to 5 days a week. I ensure that weekends, I try, especially Saturdays, I try not to, start so early. And sometimes I do start early on Saturdays and then I switch the day to somewhere else. But the point I'm making is, if you feel that it is very difficult for you to be consistent with your morning routine, like on a daily basis, it is perfectly fine for you to do it, say every other day, right? So maybe 3 days a week or 4 days a week. The goal is to get a rhythm going. But I would advise that if you're just starting out for the first time, please ensure that you're consistent every single day, because you need to build a habit of it. Step 6 in my morning routine takes care of my social, and this is one of the ones that I love so much. Now, what do I mean by social? Social essentially focuses on my relationship with other people, right? As an entrepreneur, especially as an entrepreneur, many times you get so engrossed in putting out fires and running your businesses that you don't get enough time to nurture the relationships in your life. This could even be the relationship with your wife, with your son, with your daughter, with your, husband, with your father, mother, friend, whatever. But even the relationships in our lives need to be nurtured, and we cannot sacrifice those relationships on the altar of business. So I make time within my morning routine to take care of my social, and this is what I do, guys. It is magical. And if you're my friend and you're watching this and you've gotten one of these before, you know what I'm talking about. So this is what I do. If you can incorporate it into your morning routine, trust me, it works wonders. So right after I finish praying and all that, and I'm in that mode, that mental space where God's spirit is speaking to me, where I feel superhuman, and I've connected with my immortal self, I take out my phone. Sometimes it's a text and sometimes it's a voice note. It's either one of both. I select 3 people, the first 3 people that come to my mind, or whoever it is that has been on my mind for some time, right? Send them a voice note or a text. I prefer voice notes because it carries more emotion. And then I just speak positively to them. So I'm either thanking them about something that they've done, or appreciating them for who they are, or praying for them, or just telling them that their day is going to be really good, or telling them that they're really going to be great. And this is not coming because I want to hype them up. No, remember, it starts with that step 5, when I am in my most powerful state, essentially. And I just take that time to just speak into people's lives, to thank them, to show gratitude, to show appreciation. And that goes on for like a minute or two, like a minute voice note or 2-minute voice note, or sometimes it's a text message. Let me tell you what that does. Number 1, it puts you in the mental state of gratitude. That's the first thing that it does to you. So your day is starting with a very positive energy, because you're forced to think about this person and the positive things about them, or you're forced to, or you're in a place where you're speaking positively. And if you speak positively to people, you're getting those emotions yourself. So that's the first thing it does. It puts you in a very strong and powerful mental state. But the second thing that it does is very magical as well. To the person receiving the message, remember, this happens sometimes around 2 a.m. my time, right? So depending on whatever time they are in the world, but mostly, people in my relationship in my network are almost always asleep at that time. So what then happens thereafter is when they get it in the middle of the night. It's most likely that they are still sleeping, or they get it like very early in the morning for them. And for us, human beings of this 21st century, when we wake up, what is the first thing we do? We reach for our phones. Many of us, not all of us, we reach for our phones. So more often than not, this person is waking up, they're reaching for their phones, they're seeing a notification of either a text message or a voice note from me. And because I don't do it every day, or I don't, it's not like I send people spam, I don't send spam things to people. They open it because they're curious, why is David sending me a voice note in the middle of the night? And then they pick it up, they turn it on, and they're listening to it. And it's all these powerful, positive vibes coming into them, they're hearing how great they are. They are hearing how, they have impacted lives. They're hearing how their day that they're just about to start is going to go really great. Or they're hearing what God has said concerning them in scriptures. How do you think they feel? That's the magic. When I do that, when I started doing it at first, and occasionally I would get some people would not even respond. It doesn't matter. But often enough, I would get some people just send me a voice note response or a text response or no response at all. And then like a day later or a week later or a month later sometimes, I get a message that says, Davis, I was really at a point where I really needed this. And it was as if God was speaking to you. It was as if, God used you or something. I needed that word at that time. And guys, that fills me with so much pride. And it fills me with so much positive energy. And the person gets so much greatness out of doing it. I get so much greatness out of doing it. Guess what? It cost me a minute to create that reciprocal positive energy. I do it for like 3 people every morning, and it's always just magical. It's a powerful and one of the favorite parts of my morning routine. If you can incorporate it, trust me, it will be magical. Trust me when I say that. It's always exciting to talk about that social part. I'm sure you can see it on my face. I still haven't recovered from thinking about some of the kind of feedback I've gotten from it. But in any case, we have to move on, right? So we've talked about reverse alarm number 1, plan for the day number 2, sleep number 3, wake up number 4, spiritual activity, pray and study God's word number 5, and number 6, send a message to somebody in your network, a positive message to get their own day started positively. So number 7 in that sequence for me is mental. So right after I'm done praying and I send out those messages, there is a tune that I have, an instrumental that I have on my phone that is very calming. I plug it into my ears, and then as it begins to play, I close my eyes and I begin to visualize. I'm visualizing my dreams, my goals, my objectives, the things I want to accomplish, with my life in every dimension of my life. I am visualizing, and this happens for between 3 to 5 minutes. And I am just very still and meditating and visualizing right at that point. And this fills my mental capacity with a lot of motivation, with a lot of drive, to charge towards the day, to take action and do things of that nature, right? So it's a really, really powerful part of my day. It doesn't take long. It's always between 3 to 5 minutes, but it does create a lot. So that's a really, really powerful one in my day. So that's number 7, if I'm correct. Now, number 8 thing that happens is intellectual. So right after my meditation, I then consume content for 30 minutes. Content that would improve my intellectual capacity. Now, this could be in the area of my interest, and it may be in an area where it's not even, in an area that is not my core competence, right? But this is how I get to stay knowledgeable, So when I say consume content, I don't mean, go and watch some random thing on Instagram. No, I'm either reading a book, which is the reason why it takes me a long time to read any book, because I can only devote 30 minutes to it in a day. I'm either reading a book, or I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm watching a video. So there are some people that I'm subscribed to on YouTube: Bedros Koulian, Tom Bilyeu, which one? Slide Bean. There are quite a number of them, right? These are some of the channels that I watch that I learn a lot of things from, all right? But I take 30 minutes. I ensure that it's not more than 30 minutes because you don't want to get into that habit very early in the morning at the peak of your powers when you are consuming somebody else's content. Number 9 thing in my routine is physical exercise, and that takes care of my physical health. It doesn't have to be long. I exercise for give or take 15 minutes thereabout, some push-ups, sit-ups, stretches and things here and there. Essentially 15 minutes, I'm done. I go take a shower, freshen up and get ready for the rest of the day. But essentially exercise is very important in order to keep your body in tip-top shape. And it's not about the length of time with these things, right? It's about the consistency. So whether it's a 1 hour activity or 5-minute activity or 2-minute activity, what matters is that it is a consistent part of your routine. And that part, number 9 for me, is physical exercise. I exert my body and it takes care of my physical health. Number 10, guys, this is the last part of my morning routine, and I call it the last part because it is the one that then leads into the rest of my day. Now, the last part of my morning routine is to then begin to do the work that I've planned the night before. And this is what takes care of both my financial health and my professional health. So I'm doing the work, whatever work it is that I've set out to do, I begin to do the work. So whatever that work is, right? I'm not going to get into the work that I do, but that starts right after all of these other things. And then that takes me into the day. So that is not time bound. My work can start and then I can keep going till 4 p.m. Sometimes I keep going and take a nap somewhere around 10 for like 20 minutes. Sometimes the day can then go however the day wants to go, depending on whatever it is I've planned for that day. But this is the last part of my day, and that is what takes care, or the last part of my morning routine, I meant to say, and that is what takes care of my financial health and my professional health. So with this 10-step routine, right, I've taken care of my financial health, my professional health, I've taken care of my physical health, my intellectual health, my mental health, my social health, and my spiritual health. This, guys, is what I deployed into my life. I started in January 2019. It has given me great results, and I am still doing them till today. You need to find a timing that works for you, and you need to find, what time you're going to allocate to each of these things. But the most important thing is that you ensure that the 7 dimensions of your life are taken care of by your morning routine and that you are consistent with it. Consistency is the name of the game. If you're able to build that consistency very early on, you're going to find out that after like a month of doing it, it's going to become natural to you and you're going to find it easier to do these things. This literally, guys, is what made me a high achiever, is what made me to have achieved the successes that I've achieved over the past couple of years. And there is many more ahead of me, and I'm sticking to my routine in order to keep being the kind of person that I need to be in order to accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish. If you have enjoyed this video, please ensure that you subscribe. All right, subscribe, click the subscribe button. Is it here or here? Wherever you find it, please click on it. Click on the notification bell so that you can always be reminded every time I post a new video. And one more thing I'm going to say to you. Last week, I posted a video about money mistakes that you need to avoid at all costs. So if you have challenges with money, you can find that video somewhere up here. Please click on it so that you can watch and learn from it. The week before that, I think I created a video about how to get your employees to act like owners. So if you're an entrepreneur struggling with that, you can check that out as well. Or just go through the channel and see whatever works for you, because there's a lot of content for you to still explore. Remember, if you're here for the first time, please ensure that you subscribe. If you've always been coming here, thank you so much for your support. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If there's any type of content you think I should create, please put it in the comment section below. I will be glad to create it. Thank you very much, guys. My name is Davis. I love creating content for entrepreneurs. And remember, it's not about what you've learned. It's about what you do with what you learn, because doing makes the difference. Bye for now, guys.